President Donald Trump is set to unveil a new initiative on Tuesday that aims to significantly reduce prescription drug costs in the United States. This initiative includes the launch of a consumer-friendly website dubbed TrumpRx, where Americans can purchase medications at discounted rates. Additionally, it features a partnership with Pfizer to lower the pricing of its medications for U.S. consumers, according to insights shared with CNN by informed sources. While specifics regarding the Pfizer agreement remain vague, it's important to note that the pharmaceutical giant postponed price increases on numerous drugs back in 2018, after Trump voiced criticisms on social media during his initial term. This latest effort comes as Trump has been vocally challenging drug manufacturers to decrease their prices for American patients. He has reintroduced his earlier most favored nation policy, which urges drug companies to align domestic prices with the lowest rates they charge in other comparable countries. Kush Desai, a spokesperson from the White House, emphasized Trump's commitment, stating, "President Trump is doing more to reduce healthcare expenses than anyone else in Washington, D.C. He is utilizing the power of the federal government to significantly reduce the price of drugs for average Americans. While Democrats have talked about it for years, only President Trump is taking real action." Earlier in May, Trump issued an executive order mandating that drug manufacturers provide U.S. patients with medications at most favored nation pricing, or face significant consequences. This could include developing new regulations designed by the Department of Health and Human Services or possibly revoking drug approvals deemed unsafe, ineffective, or improperly marketed by the FDA. Moreover, he urged HHS to establish price targets within 30 days. Feeling that progress was insufficient, Trump reached out in July to the leaders of 17 major pharmaceutical firms, presenting them with a list of requests, including an appeal for them to voluntarily extend the most favored nation policy to encompass all medications supplied to Medicaid beneficiaries. He also demanded assurances that prices defined under this policy would apply to all new drugs, covering Medicaid, Medicare, and commercial market insurance plans. The companies were given a deadline of the following Monday to meet these expectations. An additional goal of the Trump administration includes encouraging pharmaceutical companies to establish direct purchasing channels, enabling U.S. patients to buy medications without traditional insurance involvement for reduced costs. Several manufacturers have already initiated such platforms for specific drug offerings. For example, Novo Nordisk recently announced that American patients could acquire a month's supply of their renowned diabetes treatment, Ozempic, for $499 if they choose to pay out of pocket rather than through insurance. This is a significant reduction from the official list price of nearly $1,000 per month. With the drug available via Novo's direct pharmacy service, which ships medications straight to cash-paying customers. In parallel, the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, commonly referred to as PhRMA, introduced AmericasMedicines.com, a platform that connects patients with direct purchase programs from various drug manufacturers. Reflecting Trump's call for accessible offerings, certain manufacturers are responding by rolling out new direct purchase options that enhance convenience and can save patients both time and money, eliminating hidden fees or markups while providing transparent pricing, stated PhRMA in their announcement. However, the pharmaceutical industry has cautioned that implementing most favored nation policies could lead to dire consequences. Alex Shriver, senior vice president at PhRMA, expressed that importing foreign price restrictions would undermine American leadership and negatively impact patients and workers. This announcement coincides with the Trump administration's impending enforcement of a substantial 100% tariff on imported brand-name pharmaceuticals, unless the producing company is actively establishing a production facility in the U.S. Notably, imports from the European Union, a key supplier of name-brand medications, will be subjected only to a 15% tariff, as stipulated in a previous trade agreement. Trump's latest moves form part of an ongoing initiative to compel drug makers to slash their prices, which has been a focal point since his first presidential campaign. Recently, he touted the potential for a staggering 1,500% price reduction, though industry experts regard that projection as mathematically unfeasible. Particularly, Trump has concentrated on the stark disparity in drug pricing between the U.S. and other nations, especially those in Europe, where government regulations tend to influence medication costs. An HHS report unveiled last year disclosed that Americans spend nearly 3 times as much on pharmaceuticals compared to their counterparts in other similar countries. During his first term, the Department of Health and Human Services attempted to finalize a most favored nation pricing rule in late 2020. But it was halted by federal courts due to procedural issues and ultimately rescinded by President Joe Biden in 2021. This initiative would have applied specific conditions to Medicare payments for certain drugs provided in clinical settings. As Trump intensifies his rhetoric, experts within the industry remain cautious about the genuine impact of his proposed measures for both pharmaceutical manufacturers and consumers. Legally, the president does not possess the authority to enforce drug companies to adhere to most favored nation pricing, leading many to believe it's unlikely these companies will voluntarily reduce prices within the U.S. Indeed, some industry insiders speculate that drug manufacturers may opt to increase prices internationally instead of lowering them at home. For example, Eli Lilly announced plans to raise the price of its weight loss medication Mounjaro in the UK to facilitate a reduction in the US price. Similarly, Bristol-Myers Squibb revealed it would price its schizophrenia drug Cobenfy at the same rate in the UK as in the United States. Stay tuned for potential updates on this unfolding situation.